Good morning and welcome to another one of Drew's book reviews. So today's book is going to be book 3 in Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive, Oathbringer. So for those of you who have not read anything in the Stormlight Archive, highly recommend you absolutely do. Brandon Sanderson is just an incredible writer. Of course, you do want to start with the Way of Kings in the series to get things going here. This one, of course, is book 3. Book 2 being Words of Radiance. So, just brief synopsis of the whole world of Roshar. Here is this idea of we've got two basically different groups of people. We got the human society, and we've got the Parshendi society, who are two groups that have been at war with each other for a long time. And this is a world where storms frequently ravage the land. These high storms are like these massive, huge hurricanes that completely whip through the world and happen every couple and every few days. It's a world where emotions are present everywhere, so you can actually see things through these creatures called spren that are attracted to different kind of emotional states and things going on in the world. So you've got your fear spren and your anticipation spren and your love spren and all kinds of different types of spren for different types of situations. And at this point in the story, now that we're in book 3, we've got the Knights Radiance that have been refounded. And of course, our Bridgeman, Kaladin, being among the key characters of this newfound order of Knights Radiant, and his spren that he's managed to bond named Syl. Now, this is a pretty in-depth, well thought out world that Brandon Sanderson's created. And just absolutely love the story that's going on here. We learn a lot about who the Voidbringers are, and we get some really interesting revelations on who the Voidbringers are, where they came from. Maybe not so much where they came from, but they're not who we think they are. And that really just came out as a surprise. I mean, we thought we know who the Voidbringers were from Words of Radiance already, but now in Oathbringer we've discovered something entirely new about the Voidbringers and what happened to the initial Knights Radiant and why they disregarded their oaths and abandoned humanity. And we're learning more about the Heralds, which are like the gods of this world. And then, of course, we have Dalinar, who is this guy. He's just this warmonger. He's known as the Blackthorn, and he has managed to bond one of the most powerful spren in this world, being the Stormfather. But even he, being the Stormfather, can't stand against this god-like spren, Odium. It's just really well done, well thought out, incredible story that's been put together, and it's, from what I understand, it's supposed to be a 10-volume series, but this is only the third book. I don't know if I'm going to be able to wait until book 4 comes out, and it took long enough for book 3 to come out. Some of the things that have been discovered here are the Oath Gates, which give the ability to travel virtually instantly between different cities. Now, there's only 10 of them, and what our main focus in this book, Downer, his objective, a man who formerly was a warmonger and got quite the reputation for it, he has to unite the entire world of Roshar and all the kingdoms of Roshar to fight off the coming desolation and destruction of the world. And he has to convince these other kingdoms to allow him to access and activate their oath gates within their capital cities. But people don't trust him. He is the conqueror. He is the destroyer of kingdoms. He is the one that has wreaked havoc across the land and destroyed so many kingdoms. He has never come in peace. When Dalinar, the Blackthorn, has shown up, And so he's really struggling to unite the world, but he knows he must. He becomes branded as a heretic because he learns the truth about the God being dead, essentially. And he is branded as a heretic. He is excommunicated from the church of this world, the foreign church. And he is struggling in every respect to get over his past reputation and be seen as a uniter of the world and building and getting that trust of the other kingdoms. So he's been constantly seeing these flashbacks or visions of his past, not just his own, which his memories of his past are slowly coming back. He had accepted this curse in order to spare himself the emotional and psychological torment of losing his wife and the actions that eventually contributed to that. But of course, as we go through the story, his memories of these traumatic events start to come back to him, and this starts wreaking havoc on Dalinar and his psychological state. He's effectively starting to suffer a very severe case of PTSD, which is impacting his ability to be the leader that he needs to be. And more, all those who around him and are supporting him have to step up to the plate and do his job for him, essentially. But he eventually manages to take back control of his life right near the very end and do what needs to be done. Now, Shalyn, she becomes an interesting character in this as well. I mean, not that she wasn't before. I've always kind of liked Shalyn's character, but she has effectively, at this point in the story, developed this multiple personality disorder. So we have Shalyn, who is just this innocent girl who likes to draw, and she has become a Knight Radiant herself. And so she has this personality that is radiant, which is a Knight Radiant on one aspect of it. And then on the other side, she's got Veil, which is this kind of more confident, danger seeking personality to hers. And she's constantly shifting between all three personalities, between Veil, Shalyn, and Radiant. And of course, she also has her Spren companion pattern within this book as well. And at the end of the book, her personality essentially fractures into three distinct individuals, which kind of come to a end at the end, and where she is projecting these images or visions of her other personalities into the world around her. And it's just really interesting and fascinating to see this development within the character of Shalyn. And I don't know which one I like better. I don't know if I like Veil better or Radiant or Shalyn better. But in the end, when they're all sitting there, there's three of them there, and they kind of all split and mix into one. And that gets really interesting in how that is portrayed within this book. And then overall, like, it is just an awesome book. I absolutely love it. If you have not read anything by Brandon Sanderson, I highly recommend that you pick up the Stormlight Archive. Like, this is just a phenomenal series of books. So again, there's three of them so far. We've got The Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, and now Oathbringer. And we're just really starting to learn so much more about this world. We're starting to learn so much more about what the Spren are and where they come from in Shadesmere. We've even got a portion of the story in which Kaladin and his friends and the people that are with him go into Shadesmere and have to find their way back out. Shadesmere being the world where the Spren originate. And that and the whole way that world's reflected. So between Shalyn and Kaladin, Syl, and all their Syl being Kaladin, Spren, of course, and their journey to get out of Shadesmere, just really well done. And I am absolutely loving Brandon Sanderson's writing. You've got to read it. It is just a fantastic, amazing book, and I absolutely love it. Highly recommend it. I can't say enough good things about the Stormlight Archive. And quite frankly, I can't wait until Volume 4. And at this point, I don't even know. Brandon Sanderson doesn't even have it listed as a project on his site right now. But I know there has to be a fourth volume just because of the way it ends. Like, there's no way you could end a story there and expect that to just wrap up the entire tale. Fantastic ending. Great, great way to round off this book, I think. And definitely, you've dropped hints at the end of the book, Brandon, that this is not the end. And I kind of knew that from the beginning, to understand it's supposed to be a 10-volume series, but definitely pick it up, read it, highly recommend it. Absolutely love Brandon Sanderson's Oathbringer. And of course, as always, stay tuned because the next one up is going to be Brian McClellan's Sins of the Empire. So I'm looking forward to getting into that one. Should be an interesting read. I know his Powder Mates trilogy was really good. I really enjoyed that series by Brian McClellan, so I'm sure this will be a really good one as well. And as always, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe below. Links to Facebook, Twitter feeds will be in the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of Drew's Book Reviews. You have yourself a great day.